Step right up and prepare to be astounded by the unbelievable tale of Lexi and Sydney Stark, conjoined twins bound by fate and united in an extraordinary journey of resilience and determination. Born into a world of skepticism and uncertainty, their intertwined lives defy all odds, weaving a narrative of courage and defiance against the odds. From the whispers of disbelief to the roar of triumph, their story transcends the boundaries of conventional understanding, challenging perceptions and illuminating the depths of human possibility. As they navigate the complexities of existence, their bond transcends the physical realm, forging an unbreakable connection that propels them forward into the unknown. Join us on an unforgettable odyssey through the lives of Lexi and Sydney Stark, where the extraordinary becomes ordinary and the impossible becomes reality. We had recently discovered our pregnancy, but I was aware of it. I smiled and said, "I think it's twins," to my husband James. "Mum tuition," they say. We went for our first scan not too long after. I informed the technician, "I want you to do a baby count," as she applied a cold gel to my stomach. She grinned and said, "You're way too small to have more than one in there." Humoring my suggestion, though, she checked nevertheless. Then she made a close-up of the screen. "Well, there are two," she declared. James sent our loved ones an email, and in an instant, our family had multiplied. Congratulation messages started to come in. However, we returned for a routine scan 2 weeks later. I was able to sit up this time because the technician had called in a doctor. "You have conjoined twins," he remarked. He clarified that although it was too soon to determine the full degree of their conditions, they were connected in the bottom half of their bodies. "No, they're just cuddling," I uttered, shocked. "You'll see them separate if I jump." I couldn't sleep a wink that night as I attempted to make sense of the circumstances. We met with a group of experts after receiving more testing, which revealed we were expecting girls. As I sat clutching one of their ultrasound pictures, one of the physicians commented, "The chances of both surviving are slim." Unaware of the issue, the doctor noticed something strange in an ultrasound and pulled out a 1,000-page medical book which contained 2 brief pages about conjoined twins. When Emily Stark got the news, she turned away and stared at the ceiling, letting her husband take charge. "The doctor looked at us and said, 'They're joined somewhere in the lower region,'" Emily Stark recounted. "I knew in my heart we would have twins. It was one of those gut things," she said. Conjoined twins occur in 1 in 50,000, 60,000 births, according to the program. Of conjoined twins born, 40–60% are stillborn. Just 35% of them survive the first day, even if they are delivered safely. Despite the odds, the family has never wavered in their optimism. The twins' parents, James and Emily, learned that their daughters were conjoined before birth. All they could do was hold on to the hope that the twins would survive and be all right. The parents of the conjoined twins stated that they never had any doubts about their children's survival, despite the odds. "Oh, Lexi, are you experiencing a bad dream? Is your sister stuck to your butt like a nightmare?" the father asked in the delivery room. Sydney and Lexi shared a onesie for the first 7 months of their lives, since regular clothes wouldn't fit the twins. It would make sense for them to each stick 2 legs through a single leg hole. The twins' parents decided to split them up, even though they were healthy when they were conjoined. Emily Stark questioned her husband 2 weeks before the procedure about if they were playing God because their daughters might not survive. They realized that after the surgery they might only have 1 daughter left, or both might have passed away, as they said their children farewell. The girls found themselves back in the hospital exactly 7 months after their birth date. This was the major surgery, the separation, the 5th of their 6 procedures. The procedure is known as the hysterectomy. On October 9, 2001, the Stark family achieved national attention when two girls who were fused at the tailbone and spine underwent a successful 15-and-a-half-hour surgery to separate them. During the operation for their separation, we were calm. Everyone in our family and circle of friends came in, and they all put a wager on how long it would take to get them apart, said Emily. It's as though God marked off where to split them apart with a dot. They weren't confused. You were fully aware that this was Sydney's body and that was Lexi's. And the news kept getting better and better every hour. The Stark sisters experienced yet another unforgettable moment this month. Sydney and Lexi met with Dr. Robert McDuffie, the physician who delivered them many years ago, according to an arrangement made by St. Joseph Hospital. They reunite in the hospital hallway, the girls beaming broadly at seeing the doctor and the three of them sharing an embrace. "I believe I kept you together once," Dr. McDuffie said to the girls. These two are the only conjoined twins on Dr. McDuffie's extensive record, despite having delivered thousands of infants over the years. "I don't know how we accomplished it looking back," James remarked. "It felt like a whirlwind." And Emily responded, "We had no idea there was any difference. Remember that these were our firstborn children. Their top priority had always been their girls' quality of life, and they felt more at ease when one of their doctors informed them that life's value is determined by one's actions. We regained control when we heard that straightforward saying, 'Quality of life is what you make it,'" James stated. "And nice things continued to happen," Emily remembers. "We felt hopeful every time we turned around. What kept us going forward was our unwavering faith that kids would be potty trained, running and playing hockey," the mother remarked. "I questioned the girls whether they had a twin connection when we were seated around the table in the Stark family's kitchen. Oh yeah, without a doubt. When one is harmed or in an unpleasant situation, we are aware of it. It's comparable to twin rescue. We don't even need to think about it because that's precisely what it is," Lexi remarked. "They even discovered that they automatically gravitate towards sitting on the same sides of their bodies as when they were born, even as they explained to me how they were related physically. We had a lower body connection. This is the U that our spines formed. As a result, it makes sense for us to align with one another on these issues. They don't mind being separated, though. They are currently enrolled in 2 different high schools and are considering several institutions, some of which are located as far away as Canada and the United Kingdom. Fortunately, Sydney and Lexi, who are now 17 years old, do not have any serious health issues. However, they do claim to have twin telepathy. Sydney's mother was surprised when she showed no symptoms of pain during a painful injection Sydney had when she was 5 or 6 years old. Her father called a little while later. Lexi, Sydney's twin, was screaming in agony and going into a frenzy at home. The twins continued by saying that sometimes, even before they speak, they can tell when the other is having a rough day. The twins' chosen sleeping posture is the most heartwarming, though. They revealed that they always find themselves in the same position when they are stressed out, while taking naps. "It's very soothing to be around her," Lexi remarked about the setting. Since Sydney and Lexi are applying to institutions in different states, they will soon be living apart for the first time, yet something tells us that their bond is unbreakable. On October 9, 2001, when the girls had their procedure to separate, it was very dangerous. Due to their partial spinal conjointure, there was a significant risk that they would either not recover at all from the procedure or emerge paralyzed. James and Emily had faith that their choice was sound, and it proved to be so. It was successfully separating the twins. They said that their fairy tale ending, that their twins were well and divided, had come true. The sisters share their current activities and reminisce on some of the fun aspects of being a twin. Even when they are not close to one another, they claim to be able to sense when the other twin is in discomfort or agitated. They often feel each other's pain and report that the other twin is usually more disturbed when something happens to the first twin. This is a spine-tingling story that questions our knowledge of science. Let's get into the remaining part of the story. No one believed the twins would live after being separated. Not even the doctors saw this possibility. When Lexi and Sydney Stark were born, the world was unable to fully understand their special relationship. Although they were united at the chest and belly, their spirits continued to be fiercely independent. They encountered numerous medical difficulties and social criticism from the moment they were born, yet nothing could break their unbreakable spirits. As they grew older, Sydney and Lexi developed a relationship that went beyond their physical boundaries. They developed separate identities, interests, and goals despite having the same body. Just 2 minutes older than the other, Lexi was the gregarious, outgoing person who was always up for a joke or a sharp response. Sydney, on the other hand, was the reflective and introspective one who loved reading and had an aptitude for challenging conventional wisdom. Physical treatment sessions, surgeries, and doctor's appointments occupied their childhood. Nevertheless, they found comfort in each other's companionship among the pandemonium of medical treatments. Their friendship grew closer every day as they gracefully and resolutely weathered the ups and downs of their shared life. The people who supported them the most and fiercest were their parents, James and Emily Stark. Regardless of the difficulties they encountered, they promised to provide their daughters with the finest life possible as soon as they lay eyes on them. Together, they fostered an atmosphere of warmth, humor, and unwavering love that allowed Lexi and Sydney to grow and flourish. With unshakable confidence and resolve, Lexi and Sydney faced life despite the glances and remarks from others. Despite their young age, they overcame every challenge with a determination and fortitude that impressed everyone. They met each obstacle with an adventurous and curious spirit, whether it was learning how to walk on 2 legs or taking over the playground with contagious laughter. As they became older, Sydney and Lexi developed into role models in their neighborhood. Everyone they came into contact with was impacted by their bravery, tenacity, and unfailing optimism, which left a lasting impression on everyone who knew them. They imparted the genuine essence of love, acceptance, and perseverance to everyone around them with their contagious smiles and unbridled enthusiasm. Despite the many difficulties they faced along the way, Lexi and Sydney Stark came out of it stronger, smarter, and more motivated than before. Together, they demonstrated that love knows no boundaries and that the human spirit can overcome the most difficult challenges by facing the world with unyielding courage and unbreakable sisterhood. Sydney and Lexi developed a strong, unbreakable friendship throughout their early years. Even though they were physically close, they had different interests, objectives, and personalities. Their relationship was characterized by affection, understanding, and support for one another. Their parents were instrumental in creating an atmosphere of tolerance, acceptance, and unwavering love, which helped to strengthen their relationship. With their common interests and family vacations, Lexi and Sydney were able to enjoy childhood activities while also facing the difficulties of their particular situation. When Lexi and Sydney reached school age, they had to deal with the challenge of being conjoined twins, navigating the educational system. To make sure kids got the assistance and modifications they required to succeed academically, their parents collaborated closely with teachers and school officials. Even though some community members had their doubts at first, Lexi and Sydney won over the teachers and classmates in no time. They gained the respect and admiration of their colleagues by convincing even the most doubtful of skeptics with their brilliance, wit, and contagious personality. Sydney and Lexi faced a fresh set of possibilities and challenges when they started college. They applied to several universities renowned for their welcoming cultures and inclusive policies because they were committed to pursuing further education and realizing their aspirations. Their time in college was incredibly transformational, with like-minded people surrounding them who valued originality and encouraged diversity. Lexi and Sydney thrived socially and academically. They excelled academically, joined active student organizations, and took part in service projects. Even with their demanding academic schedules, Lexi and Sydney never failed to find time for one another. Their unwavering relationship and shared experiences gave them strength, whether they were studying late into the night or roaming the campus together. Sydney and Lexi Stark's inspiring tale of bravery, resiliency, and sisterhood still motivates people today. They seek to promote acceptance and inclusion for people with disabilities and increase awareness of conjoined twinning through their advocacy activities, public appearances, and social media presence. Their voyage is a poignant reminder of the human spirit's boundless potential. They have persevered in seeking happiness, contentment, and meaning in life despite hardship. Living examples of how everything is possible when combined with love, tenacity, and unending support are Lexi and Sydney Stark. Conjoined twins. Lexi and Sydney Stark's narrative is one of hope over despair, love over fear, and victory over misfortune. They have inspired innumerable people worldwide and defied the odds from their early years to their college years. Their story reminds us all that no challenge is insurmountable when met with love and determination, and stands as a tribute to the strength of sisterhood, courage, and resilience. They were a wonder to behold, bound together at the belly by an incredible link from birth. Their parents were committed to providing the best life possible for their children, beginning with an education despite their special situation. Sydney and Lexi's parents taught them the value of education and information from an early age. The twins were resolved to pursue their education like any other child, despite the early difficulties they encountered because of their physical connection. Through the unfailing support of their community and family, they set off on an incredible educational journey. They had many difficulties in their early years, adjusting to the difficulties of being conjoined twins in a society that valued individuality. They encountered looks, murmurs, and even outright prejudice from certain people who were unable to comprehend their particular circumstances. But Sydney and Lexi refused to let their physical limitations define them. They were committed to achieving academic success and demonstrating that nothing could stop them. Their teachers were instrumental in their schooling, customizing curricula and setting up classrooms to meet their unique requirements. Sydney and Lexi excelled academically with perseverance and hard work, frequently outperforming their classmates in a variety of disciplines. They enthusiastically consumed every book, lecture, and task because they had an unquenchable appetite for information. As they advanced through primary school, Sydney and Lexi gained recognition for their extraordinary intelligence and perseverance, in addition to their distinctive physical characteristics. Their peers looked up to them as role models because they showed resiliency in the face of hardship and encouraged others to value variety. Even though the twins excelled academically, they encountered many difficulties along the road. Even simple activities like writing or taking part in physical education sessions required meticulous planning and collaboration. But they overcame every challenge they faced with tenacity and a never-say-die mentality. For Sydney and Lexi, the high school presented a fresh set of possibilities and challenges. They became deeply involved in a range of topics, including physics, math, and literature, as they were keen to learn about the enormous field of human knowledge. They demonstrated that they could hold their own against their peers by joining organizations, taking part in extracurricular activities, and even competing in academic competitions outside of the classroom. As graduation day drew near, Sydney and Lexi thought back on their amazing educational path. They had come out stronger, wiser, and more resolute than ever, despite the doubts and uncertainties they had encountered along the path. Equipped with the information, abilities, and self-assurance to follow their aspirations, they were prepared to start the next chapter of their lives. Sydney and Lexi stood side by side on graduation day, their emotions brimming with thanks and joy. They had disproved preconceptions, overcome obstacles, and demonstrated that everything is achievable with tenacity and resolve. The audience erupted in deafening ovation as they got their degrees, honoring not just their academic accomplishments, but also their unwavering spirit. Lexi and Sydney realized their trip was far from ending as they ventured out into the world outside of their small community. However, equipped with the knowledge they had gained and the relationships they had formed, they were prepared to take on any obstacles that stood in their way as a team. They were more than just Lexi and Sydney Stark. They were living examples of the strength of perseverance, education, and the unshakable relationship between sisters. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the city, Lexi and Sydney Stark stood side by side, their hands clasped tightly together. The journey they had embarked on together had been nothing short of extraordinary. From the moment they met, their lives had been intertwined in ways they could have never imagined. Lexi, with her fierce determination and unwavering courage, had been the driving force behind their adventures. Sydney, with her sharp wit and boundless creativity, had been the perfect companion, always ready to tackle whatever challenge came their way. Together, they had faced danger and adversity, overcome obstacles that seemed insurmountable, and forged an unbreakable bond. From battling mythical creatures in far-off lands to unraveling ancient mysteries hidden in the depths of forgotten tombs, their adventures had taken them to the very edge of existence and back again. But it wasn't just the thrill of the unknown that had kept them going. It was the deep connection they shared, the understanding and support they offered each other, that had sustained them through even the darkest of times. In each other, they had found strength, courage, and most importantly, love. And now, as they stood together, gazing out at the city skyline, they knew that their journey was far from over. There were still mysteries to be unraveled, adventures to be had, and challenges to be faced. But they faced the future with confidence, knowing that as long as they had each other, there was nothing they couldn't overcome. With a smile and a silent promise to face whatever came their way together, Lexi and Sydney turned and walked hand in hand into the unknown, ready for whatever new adventures awaited them. And so, the unbelievable story of Lexi and Sydney Stark continued as a testament to the power of love, friendship, and the indomitable spirit of the human heart. Thank you for joining us on this thrilling journey. If you were swept away by the excitement, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Share the adventure with your friends, drop us a line in the comments below, and hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for even more heart-pounding escapades. Your support means the world to us as we continue to explore new horizons together. Let's keep the excitement alive. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you in our next video if you enjoyed this episode.